Crimson Trace offers a full line of protection-oriented products, including red laser sights, green laser sights, and tactical weapon lights to elevate your confidence in moments that matter. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
All righty, Tom Gresham here. Glad that you could be with us. It is Gun Talk. Well, we're going to be talking about guns because that's kind of what we do around here. So glad that you are here. Before we get to our guests, I need to take a couple of minutes to explain what we're going to be doing today. Yeah, boy, so much has changed in the last week, right? We're in the midst of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 virus, the lockdowns, the sequesters, the quarantines, the whatever you call it. And look, this is just where we are. It's what it is. People are out there buying guns, trying to buy guns. Ammo's gone, guns are gone. One is tempted to say, well, you should have known better. I've been telling you for years, for 10 years, buy ammo each month. Buy a little bit of ammo each month, and you don't care about this silliness that's going on right now. But we'll talk a good bit about that as we go forward. Also, what are you finding out there? What's going on? Love to get your range reports about that. We'll also talk about some of the things that you can do if you can't get out to a range, if you can't go certainly to an indoor shooting range. A lot of them are closed. Are there things you can do in terms of shooting or training or practicing on your own, maybe even at your house? There are. We'll talk about some of those as well. We have a number of great guests today where we talk about some of this and get some tips, but also looking for your comments. We have in some political jurisdictions shutting down of gun stores as non-essential. Then we have the Illinois governor green lights gun stores to remain open during the emergency. We have some places where they are saying instead of a 7-day waiting period, we're going to make it a 30-day waiting period because we're just overwhelmed. Yeah, well, it's a constitutional right, people. And for all of you who've been thinking, yeah, I'm going to get around to that, whether it was getting your concealed carry permit or buying that gun or getting extra ammo, those chickens have come home to roost. That whole I'm going to get around to it rarely works out for anyone. We've got a lot of things to talk about. And the other part of it is we're not going to get pulled down into any area of depression with this. We're going to talk about guns and shooting and, fun, because this stuff is fun. We'll talk serious stuff as well, of course. We're also going to be talking about old guns. If you have an old gun that you're curious about, we're going to have, just coming up, we're going to have Doug Turnbull from Turnbull Restorations. Great guy, really knows his stuff. Now would be a great time for you to call and get in line, 866-TALK-GUN, or just dial Tom Talk Gun. Now, to take care of that. When we come back, we'll be talking with Doug. We've got a new giveaway we'll be telling you about, and also getting your range reports. If you've been to a gun store the last 7 days, what are you seeing? Or maybe even better, what are you not seeing? 866-TALK-GUN. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
This land, once wild and free, fades now from our memory. But I remember what it was like, what we were like, what we are capable of when we band together. Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. These natural wonders are where waterfowl begin their cycle of life, where the deer and the antelope play, and where we, the people, gather together to see and share what makes the outdoors so great. The time is now to band together with organizations like Ducks Unlimited. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
In 2020, Brownells continues its tribute to Eugene Stoner, the legendary designer of the AR-15, AR-180, and more. The What Would Stoner Do 2020 rifle answers the question of what Stoner would have done with modern lightweight materials. Inspired by another Stoner design, Brownells BRN 180 lower receivers help complete firearms optimized for folding stocks or pistol braces. Visit Brownells.com today and pay tribute to one of America's greatest firearm engineers.
Hey, welcome back. Tom Gresham here. We've got a new giveaway going. Just started. Actually, today's the first day to announce it. All you got to do is go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N. Let's see. Grand prize. Giving away the new FN 503 Slim 9mm. Also comes with that a $500 gift certificate from Galco Gun Leather and the Lockdown Prize Pack. Very cool. Featuring the Lockdown Puck, a vault kit. Let's see. It's automatic light, handgun organizers, door organizers. There's some other prizes there. You just check it out. You can go to guntalk.com/win, W-I-N. That contest or giveaway is going to go on until April the 17th. All right, time to bring in a friend of ours. We share mutual passions, several of them actually, things where we can change money into noise. Doug Turnbull joins me right now. And Doug, I guess you're at an airport, of course.
Well, it's actually the house. I had a friend of mine stop in with a carbon cub right here at the house.
Okay, that's right, because your house has a grass strip, right?
Yeah, we've got 800 feet in the back, right in the backyard. It's charted. FAA certified charted runway. 800,
all of 800 feet, huh?
Well, it keeps the riffraff out.
That's right, because I know you've got a Cub, you got a PA-12, then you had the Carbon Cub. Those who don't know, Carbon Cub from the Cub Crafters guys in Yakima, Washington. I've been to that factory. Cool place, man. They do some really nice work there.
They make some incredible planes. He took off and only used 150 feet. I don't think he was trying hard.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's almost levitate out there. There's something about guns and airplanes. I find that an awful lot of pilots are also into guns. I don't know what the connection is, but you can do your armchair psychologist thing. But don't you find that a lot of pilots are into guns?
An awful lot. We put my plane on the cover of our calendar 3 years ago, I think it is, and it was amazing the response we got from people that are pilots.
Well, like I say, we like those things where we can turn money into noise. So there it is.
Yes, we do.
All right. First of all, we ought to tell people what you do and what Turnbull Restoration is. Why don't you take that?
Yeah, we specialize in the accurate recreation of historical metal finishes on period firearms. It's the old bone charcoal color case hardening, rust blue, carbona charcoal blue, black oxide. So it's that side as well as restocking. We have in-house engravers, so we recut lettering. We have 140 roll dies, so we can. If through a restoration, if we wipe off the lettering on a barrel or have to replace the horse on the side of a Colt single action or double action revolver, we're able to do all the little detail stuff, and it's the little details that makes us kind of different from everybody else. It's details.
Well, and it's the details that make some of these guns so special. It's, it could be somebody who says, I would like to have one of your brand new, guns that you guys make that are so cool. Or I have this gun my grandfather left me and it's, not in great shape. What can you do to it? And you guys can just kind of have the conversation about, all right, here are some of the options and things that can be done, right?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And it's...
Uh-oh, did we lose him? Oh, there he is. Okay.
No, I'm here.
All right, there he is. You dropped out for a second there.
There's so many guns out there that have been mistreated, and it doesn't matter whether it's guns or cars or anything else. But back in its day, when they were new, it was a tool. An old car, you just drove it.
Good point.
They didn't think it was going to be collectible or would be collectible.
You know, it was just a gun. You bought it at the store. You used it. You stored it. You know, and then whatever happened to it happened to it. It's kind of like a hammer or anything else, or like I said, an old car. You know, if we had known, in 1930s and 40s what those cars would be worth, people wouldn't have just driven them all over the place.
No, we'd have figured out how to bought it and parked it and saved it untouched. Cover it up, shrink wrap that sucker, and make sure you can bring it back out. And it's interesting the difference in the guns and the value, and it blows my mind away. And at the auctions, that there is stuff that is just still basically brand new, and it's great to see. And we as restorers can go to the whether it's museums, but a lot of these auctions, and grab a gun that's literally the way it was when it left the factory. Mm-hmm. And you can look at it, see the polish, see how the finish is supposed to be, see little nuances to it, and we learn from that.
So you go and look at these guns that people have kept, because there are guns that are 50, 60, 70 years old that are in absolutely perfect condition, and you go look at those and figure out, what made them special, how did they do this, what's the polish, what's the this, and then you bring that back to your team.
Yes, and that was a lot of it back in the late 70s, early 80s, working with dealers and collectors. They'd have, basically a minty original gun and give it to you and say, this is what it's supposed to look like. Now, make the one you're restoring look exactly like this original. And that's what it takes. You've got to have in your hands or available or a place to go look at what's it supposed to look like, so that you can make it look like that again.
And I'm looking at your website here. For those who want to look along, Turnbull Restoration, singular, turnbullrestoration.com. I'm looking at the LC Smith Grade 6 side-by-side of before and after. It's spectacular. I mean, the after looks like LC Smith just shipped it to you, but they could do back then and send it directly to your house.
They put postal stamps on it and ship it right to you.
Exactly right.
Different times.
It is. So, but you also are doing your own restorations where people don't have to send you a gun. You get guns and then do, I don't know if you call it restorations. They're almost like new Turnbull model guns, aren't they?
Yeah, we do. We're taking some of.
All right, we got a bad. All right, there he is. He's coming back. Wait a minute. I don't know if you're walking around or what, Doug, but we're losing you sometimes.
No, I'm sitting still.
Oh, okay. It's called waiting, probably. All right, go ahead.
But so we take a brand new gun, take it apart, and do some polish. We might rust blue the barrel, but we'll color case harden the receiver, change the wood color, and put the Turnbull name on it. So it takes a brand new gun and make it look like an old one. And boy, it makes a difference in the appearance. But then you can get into something at a reasonable price and go out and shoot the heck out of it, enjoy it, and not have to worry about taking a restoration or maybe an original gun and give it some old wear then.
Yep, no, exactly. You got color case hardened. You got, you'll even do things like take the modern style Marlins and take that goofy crossbolt safety off of them, which was unnecessary and I guess lawyer driven, but
lawyer driven.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you do have half cock, you do have, you can uncock it, you can half cock it, you can cock it, you can do what you need to do and not have to have that goofy thing. I almost lost a moose over that crossbolt safety, by the way.
I wouldn't doubt it. I've heard a lot of people with the Marlins, they'll go to the range, they'll take a shot and they'll put the safety on. Mm-hmm. They'll take the safety off, take another shot, and put the safety on. And I've heard people shoot at something, and they shoot and then they put the safety on. And it's like, oh crap, I got to shoot them again, and they'll pull up and go click because the safety was on. They didn't. Yeah.
And what happens? You cock it, and you pull the trigger, and the hammer goes forward, but the gun doesn't go off.
Right.
And it is one of the loudest sounds in the world when it goes click when it's supposed to go bang.
Yeah, it happened to me. I mean, I was on an elk hunt and walked out, had my Model 86 and 475 Turnbull. It was a bunch of rounds in the magazine, but it was dark, so I didn't have anything in the chamber and sat down, and all of a sudden things started to happen, and nice, great bull. 6x6 came out with his harem and 150 yards, and I laid down, got a good rest off the log. Everything was nice and perfect, and went click. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I didn't get that elk.
Oh, well, I ended up getting this moose. It went click, but he was really intent on this cow that was next to him, and he was not hearing or seeing anything. And so I was able to cock it, get the safety off, fire the next shot. That didn't do any good either. You'll love this. He's like 135 yards away, shooting the 450 Marlin. And I shoot, and he doesn't move. Then about halfway between me and the moose, this 5-foot-tall sapling, right about in the middle of it, just folds over. I had punched a hole right through this tree. And at this point, the cow has figured out what's going on. She's taken off, and he's looking at her like, well, where'd she go?
What about me?
What about me? Hey, don't you love me? So I was able to actually, work the action, get back on him, and shoot him, and I got my moose after all of that falderall. But, yeah, I don't want that crossbolt safety on. That's not my thing. I love it that you take those off and make these guns look, as you say, take a new gun and make it look old. That's just very cool.
Yeah. And and they're very reasonably priced, and they sell well, and people are enjoying them, and that's what matters.
Well, if you were, to give me an idea, if you were, I'm looking here, a Winchester 1892 or one of your other ones there, and they're not real inexpensive. We're talking, $3,000, $3,500 for these. But if you were to find something like that in pristine condition like that, what would you have to pay for it?
Yeah. The original, you'd be 20, depending, there's a bunch of different factors, but you could spend 20 to 30,000.
Yeah, I would think so.
A minty nice original, if not more.
Yeah, I would think easily. So, now for somewhere in the $2 to $4 grand, you have one that looks like it was made 60 years ago or more, but it's modern manufacture and ready to go. They're beautiful. Yeah,
they're really nice. Winchester does a nice job recreating that rifle, and we're glad to get them and glad to do them. We order them with the high grade wood right on them and checkered, but we still deal with the wood and the checkering and that. Still go over that stuff, but the basic gun, it's.
Yeah, I'm thinking one of those, the 1892 takedown and 45 Colt. I can't tell you how many times I've worn out the keyboard going back and looking at that one. That was nice.
Yeah, they are nice. Yeah, and a lot of good ammo for that old stuff too nowadays.
Yes, exactly right. Which leads me to the other question: is I know that you are a big fan of hunting with lever actions. Like you say, you're hunting elk. You're not just goofing around. You're doing serious hunting with these things, aren't you?
Yeah, we really have, and it's kind of like the waterfall. You can take your pump and the auto, but then you remember your dad, your grandpa. They had the side by side. You can take your bolt action rifle and the scope and shoot long distance, or you can use a lever action on iron sights. And how far can you shoot? How far is it accurate? And my comment is how well can you see the sights?
That may be the factor.
that really is, in daylight and the light and how they shine down. That's the limiting factor for me is, can I see the sights?
Which leads us to putting restrictions on yourself. It's kind of a version of bow hunting or handgun hunting. Yep. We're going to put a restriction on ourselves. We're going to make it a little bit harder. We're going to have to get a little bit closer. All these things add up that, in my mind, add to the experience of the hunt.
It is. Yeah, it is. And when you get that animal, it's a whole lot different feeling because you've had to work at it harder. You've had to get closer. You had to have the light just right that you can see the sights. You have to know exactly how far something is, because it's not as flat as 270.
Well,
so
on this moose, the guide with this bull is coming toward us, and at about 350 yards, he says, "Can you shoot him from here?" And I'm throwing a pumpkin out there. No, I can't shoot him from 350 yards.
No. You got to get them close. And the closer they are, the easier it is. But it's the patience. And then the closer they get, the more you shake because they're getting closer.
Yes, exactly right. I mean, you're not divorced from them. You're up close to. I mean, you're close enough to hear them, and sometimes you're close enough to smell them, literally.
Yeah, and
that's fun.
That is fun. That's what makes it so enjoyable, and it brings back the memories.
Absolutely. So if people want to get a gun worked on, they just contact you, and you guys have the conversation about what they have. Is that how you started off?
Yeah. Right now, because of the coronavirus issues and that in New York State, we've had to make some changes. Actually, we're one of those non-essential businesses, so we're kind of shut down. We're very limited. I've got work going out to the different guys. So before you send anything, I would, absolutely call or email us to find out what's going on.
Sounds good. Makes sense.
Yeah. And
we'll get through this.
The stuff is changing day to day. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's different rules each day, but like I say, we'll get through this. And the website is turnbullrestoration.com. I want to drive people there. Doug, thank you so much for spending time with us, man.
Well, thank you, Tom, and good luck with everything. Hope to get down there either to Louisiana or Idaho.
Fly that plane out to Idaho. I can't land my plane. I could land my plane at 800 feet, but then they'd be towing it off in a truck. So
that 182, you might be surprised. My father had a 185 amphib and was going in and out at 900 feet. So
yep, you could do it. As they like to say, can you land there? He says, yeah, once.
Once. Yep.
All right. Thank you so much. Again, you guys take care of yourselves. Be careful with all this deal, and we'll touch base with you when this emergency is over.
Yeah, same with you. Yep.
All right. You take care. Hey, check it out. TurnbullRestoration.com. I mean, if you just want eye candy, holy cow, gorgeous thing. 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, we'll take your calls. We'll also talk about, some issues going on right now. Hey, welcome back. Tom Gresham here. Our number is 866-TALK-GUN or Tom Talk Gun. A lot of things going on. People are making runs on ammunition and guns. Love to get your range report. What do you see in your part of the country? Are people, I'm sure they are. And how are you dealing with that? Are you feeling the need to go buy stuff? Or were you fixed up? Had you already purchased? Had you followed my advice over the years of dollar cost averaging, which is simply an investing term of buying something regularly, so you already have your guns and you already have your ammunition. Look, we saw this when President Obama got elected, and there were no guns, there was no ammo. It was like for a year. People just buying stuff like crazy. And I kept saying when it came back, I said, look, ammo is cheap now. Guns are available now. Buy stuff now, because this will happen again. I didn't know why it would. Didn't know what would happen. Had no idea it would be a virus. But something was going to happen. And here we are. So what do you see in 866-TALK-GUN? Also, don't lose sight of the fact that there is, in fact, an election this year. Don't know what the impact's going to be of this current crisis on that. I think probably it will have a serious effect on that. But, of course, by the way, just a heads up, later on in the show today, we're going to have Jerry Wayne. He is the gentleman who confronted Joe Biden and started asking him, the union guy was asking Biden about his gun policies, and Biden told him, you're full of spit, or something close to that. So we'll be talking with Jerry Wayne about that whole encounter as well. You know what? And to talk about what a Joe Biden presidency might look like, we're joined right now by Emily Taylor, the gun rights attorney. Hey, Emily, how are you?
Well, how about you?
Excellent. So first of all, tell folks, what do you mean when you say you are the gun rights attorney?
Well, that's a great question. I am an independent program attorney for a group called U.S. Law Shield. And what U.S. Law Shield does is provide legal defense for issues of self-defense. So anytime you have to defend yourself and you get arrested or maybe you get charged civilly, If you're a member of U.S. Law Shield, you get a free lawyer. And so not only that, but then, of course, all of our independent program attorneys are highly involved in gun rights advocacy. We just eat, sleep, and breathe it.
Okay. So I understand you have some thoughts on what a Joe Biden presidency might look like. What's your take there?
Well, the thing that should put an icy chill into everyone's veins is that we have so little Supreme Court precedent on what the Second Amendment truly means that we find ourselves in a situation in which if the Democrats, if Joe Biden start really aggressively going after our guns, which they are all signaling they would, we have a problem, which is that we have very little guidance about what will happen. We've got a good makeup to the Supreme Court. However, any lawyer will tell you that it's a scary world when you really have very little in terms of law to rely on.
I know people are saying, well, boy, we've got Heller, we've got McDonald. And you go, yeah, but you don't understand. The lower courts, appellate courts, have been essentially ignoring, or at least thumbing their nose, if you will, at Heller and at McDonald. And that's why we have at least a half a dozen cases headed to the Supreme Court. We've got New York Right State, I can't say it, the State Pistol Association case that will perhaps, I don't know what's going to happen with their session this year with the coronavirus, but we had hoped to be able to hear about that case by June. There are cases headed for the Supreme Court, but it goes to your point of Heller and McDonald are not enough. It's just, we don't have enough precedent yet.
That's absolutely right. And New York State Pistol and Rifle is going to be a fascinating case when we hear what happened. Of course, the Supreme Court has got an easy out on that one, too, if they want, because New York repealed their regulation that was the offensive regulation. And so the opposite side of the argument is saying, you can't even rule on this. This is, moot, what we call it. And so, they could kind of wiggle their way out of that one, too, and then we're left in the same nebulous spot we're in now.
Exactly. I sat through the arguments in that case at the Supreme Court when it was argued earlier this year, and probably 3/4 of the arguments were about the mootness of it as opposed to the merits of it. So we'll see. One could hope, and I know some people had said, if they were going to rule on the mootness, that might have happened earlier. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that the fact that they didn't just kick it out means they're actually discussing it on the merits. So I am hopeful, because, it could be huge, depending on which way they go. They tend to rule with the smallest of the slice they can, but it could be a huge deal. But, to go all the way back to your point, I've said for for a long, long time, I said, look, the first election of Donald Trump, it was all about judges and justices. This time, it's all about judges and justices. That's what it is when it comes to the Second Amendment.
Yes, that's absolutely right. Because ultimately, we all hope that these really bad anti-2A laws don't make it into law, either on the federal level or the state level. But if and when they do, we have to rely on our judges to uphold the Constitution. And if we've got judges who care more about being anti-gun than they do about upholding our Second Amendment, then we've got a huge problem, which is why this is so incredible. Every election is important, but particularly now more than ever, in Second Amendment terms, it has become crucial.
Let me ask you to address something that I hear all the time. And frankly, I get frustrated by it. And you'll hear gun people say, oh, yeah, I know. But look, we've got the Second Amendment, and, they're not going to take that away. And I just want to wrap upside the head. When you hear something, and I know you hear the same thing, how do you respond?
Well, there's really, I guess step one is, do we see a future where it's likely that the Second Amendment is repealed by 2/3 of the state? No, absolutely not.
No.
However, can we envision a future in which the Second Amendment has been so thoroughly gutted that it is meaningless? Absolutely. And bear in mind that the little scant Supreme Court precedent that we have includes dicta by Justice Scalia, who was, a good pro-2A justice, but he acknowledged that it is not without limits. And of course, what he meant by that was you can still restrict convicted felons from having guns. You can still restrict minors from having firearms. There are still, we're not going to let the general public have nuclear weapons, things of that nature. But you can take that and run with it. And then all of a sudden we're all living in in New York, where we're having to fight about whether or not we can leave the home with a pistol.
It's a good point. And I know the people right now are concentrated, rightfully so, on the coronavirus and what's going on, the restrictions and the ramifications of that. But when we come out of this, and there will still be an election coming up, and it is really critical. I mean, Joe Biden just he selected Beto O'Rourke's campaign manager to be his campaign manager. And of course, Joe Biden, we see the video of him telling Anderson Cooper, yes, absolutely, we're going to take your guns. If you have an assault weapon, we're going to take it. I mean, the same thing that Beto O'Rourke said. So we don't even have to wonder. He is saying, I will confiscate at least some of your guns. Frankly, and you know the drill. What they say is, we will take as many as we can this time, and then we'll come back for more later.
Absolutely right. And anyone who has any doubt or wonders what that world of a Joe Biden presidency might look like should go take a look at H.R. 5717. It was filed by a congressman out of Georgia on March 10th. It is blood-curdling. It's every anti-gun policy you could imagine thrown into one bill, and it is too close to being our future to ignore.
It is the mother of all gun ban bills. It is their wish list of everything they want. And yes, was it 5717? Is that what it was?
I believe that's correct, yes.
Yeah, you can take a look at that. And actually, there's the YouTube videos about it now. You can take a look at what's going on. Colianor just put one up on it. It is interesting, fascinating, and as you say, chilling. Emily, thank you so much. If people want to know more about what you're doing, what's the best place for them to look online?
uslawshield.com. Take a look. You've got great program attorneys all over the country.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. I am Tom Gresham. We'll be right back with more Gun Talk.
Since 1994, Crimson Trace has defined and built the laser sighting category through design, innovation, and performance. With an obsession to create best-in-class electro-optics, Crimson Trace now offers a full line of lasers, lights, reflex sights, red dot sights, and rifle scopes for tactical and sport applications. Most Crimson Trace products include free batteries for life, and all scopes are backed by a lifetime warranty. Find yours at your local dealer or at crimsontrace.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
Visit guntalk.com/win to enter Gun Talk's Carry On giveaway, presented by FN America, Galco Gun Leather, and Lockdown. One grand prize winner will receive the new FN 503 Slim 9mm, a $500 gift certificate to use at galcogunleather.com, and a Lockdown prize pack with the new Lockdown Puck and Vault Pack. Enter now through April 17th at guntalk.com/win. That's guntalk.com/win.
Tactical professionals who put their lives on the line every day depend on Surefire. Since 1979, Surefire has designed, machined, and assembled the finest flashlights, weapon-mounted lights, hearing protection, and suppressors right here in the U.S. Surefire, offering a best-in-class warranty and customer service, and used by more military special operations, SWAT teams, and hard-use end users than any other brand. Surefire, American-built, American-strong. Visit Surefire.com. That's Surefire.com.
This is the golden age for personal self-defense. You can get permits, you can get the training that you need, you can take care of yourself and your family, which is just a basic responsibility.
Tiger Key, good trainer. By the way, now would be a good time to think about training. A lot of people buying guns. Here's a question for you. Do you have friends or people you know who have suddenly decided to become a gun owner? They're getting nervous. They're seeing what's going on. They're thinking, wow, we could be on our own. Yeah, we've been telling you that all along. But people are running out. Maybe they bought a new gun. They don't know much about it. You could be their support network. You could be let me show you how to do this carefully and safely. Still, you got to do your social distancing. You got to be careful with that. Here's a question for you. First of all, if you are in a state that has universal background checks, you realize that you can't even loan a gun to a nervous neighbor, somebody who's scared, who would like to have a gun for protection, because you can't go to the gun store and do the transfer. You can't just loan that. And in some states, they're stretching out the background checks. Now they're saying, well, instead of 7 days, it's going to be 30 days, or we just can't get around to it. And the NICS checks, the federal background checks, are going slowly. We'll have a report on that on the after show. Michelle's going to tell us what's going on in her store. Just a lot of things going on. So I'd love to get your take. What are you seeing? What are you hearing locally? Our number is 866-TALK-GUN. Tyler has joined us on 5 out of Houston, Texas. Hey, Tyler, welcome to Gun Talk.
Yeah, I'd like to give a quick attaboy to Crimson Trace. Sure. I purchased the Kimber Micro with the laser grips about 5 years ago, and due to wear, they just stopped working. I sent them in, and they sent me back a brand new pair at no charge, no questions asked. I even told them I was happy to pay for any repairs, and they didn't charge me anything.
Son of a gun. Were you surprised?
Honestly, no, I wasn't. I was happy, of course, but I really wasn't surprised. I found that most gun manufacturers and people in the industry just really take care of their customers.
It's so true.
Ruger did the same thing for me.
Yeah? Ruger did?
Yes, sir. They replaced the front side on the pistol I purchased for me at no charge.
You make a good point, which we're at the point now where we're pleased by it, but we're not really surprised by it because we've almost come to expect it, that the companies in the gun business, whether they make guns or accessories or whatever, they stand behind their product, at a level that it's hard to comprehend. They just either fix it or replace it for free.
It's so true. It's almost like calling up your friends. They were so nice, and, there was no headache at all.
You're right. You call them and they go, okay, sure, not a problem. Send it back. We'll replace that for you. And you go, well, no, I just wanted to fix it. I'll be happy to pay for that. And they go, no, I'm not going to hear that. You're not paying for it. We made it. It's not working. We're going to take care of it.
And they did it promptly too.
Amazing.
Very little wait.
Amazing stuff. Let me ask you this: how do you like? Because I know there are people still on the fence about lasers on their self-defense guns. When you talk to people, what do you tell them about that?
I just let them put it up and hold it for themselves. And once they see the laser go on whatever they're pointing at, they're like, oh, wow, this is really cool. Especially the Crimson Trace grips that are built into that Turnbull Micro.
Right.
You really don't even know it's there unless, in a non-gun person, if they see it, they wouldn't know there was even a laser on that gun. It's so low profile and
right. You just grab the gun. When you grab the grip, the laser comes on. You pick it up, you point it, and there's the dot, and you go. You're right. You don't even have to explain it to them. Just put it in their hand, let them point it, and that's. If it's a sales pitch, there it is. It's not really a sales pitch. It's a here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Look, Tyler, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's a great range report. Great company, Crimson Trace, the folks there. All right, if you have any range reports for us, we're looking for them. What are you seeing? Have you been to a gun store? Are you trying to buy ammo these days? People are actually finding weird ammo, buying it, and then trying to find a gun for it. 866-TALK-GUN. Back with you, Tom Gresham, 866-TALK-GUN. David's in Dallas on 2. Hey, David, you're on Gun Talk. What's cooking?
Well, I was looking for what you or your listeners knew about the 300 hammer.
Oh, Bill Wilson's deal.
Yes, I didn't know if I could say who
yeah,
it was
sure.
or not.
Yeah, Wilson Combat. That's one of his caliber creations. Well, here's the deal. You understand, Bill likes to hunt hogs more than anything in the world.
Well, I do too.
Okay.
And I've built 300 blackouts, and they are fun to shoot.
Right.
Let me tell you, they are fun to shoot. So anyway, you talk.
Well, the 300 hammer is, a 300 blackout plus, close to 300 or 308, not quite. Still shoot it in an AR-15 platform. What I don't know, I'm just looking here. Yeah, it looks like you can buy factory ammo. Are you a hand loader, or would you need factory ammo?
I'd need factory. I'd have to buy from him.
Okay, yeah, you got to get it from him. So I guess what I would say would be to analyze it carefully and look at the cost of, say, 500 or 1,000 rounds, because that's not unreasonable. You may end up deciding, gee, I could go. Well, first of all, is there a reason you would not want to go to a 308?
Oh, I've already got I already built the 308. Oh, wait.
Okay, I know where we are now. You're looking for permission to get another gun. Then I'm going to just tell you, yes, my son,
to build another upper. No, I'm going to build another upper. I've got 4 AR-15 lowers. You just slap another upper on.
I understand. The answer is yes. This is exactly what you need, David.
I'm just changing socks.
I got it. I got it. I'm there with you. So, now are you using a suppressor?
I have, for my 300 blackout, hopefully I'll get it before Thanksgiving. I bought it back during Christmas when the tax stamp was paid for.
Mm-hmm. You know what you may want to do? Be sure to check with Wilson and probably with the suppressor manufacturer, because this is going to be a higher level of pressure if that suppressor was designed for the blackout. Now, if it's designed to take a 308 or that kind of pressure, it should not be a problem, but it's just something to verify before you shoot the hammer through there.
So anyway, all righty. Well, I just want to know if any of your listeners have built one or shot one or got one. So
we'll put the word out. If somebody can help out, and look, first of all, you understand that we collectively are all giving you permission, because we're going to need that at a later time when we need somebody to back us up and say, yes, you can buy that. So this is how we enable each other. That's the gig we're in here. David, thank you so much. I wish you luck with it. Bill Wilson makes, really good stuff. I mean, like, holy cow. Wilson Combat, if you look it up, wilsoncombat.com. Pistols, rifles, new cartridges, ammo, lots of stuff going on there. So, yeah, there you go. I'm looking at these stories. You got Illinois is declaring gun stores to be essential businesses, and they can stay open. California, San Jose mayor is saying gun stores are non-essential, and they're closing them down. There's something weird about all of this, but the one thing it does remind you is that people can and will shut down your gun rights if given a chance. And if you have thought, well, I can always get that at some other point, no, you cannot. And for those who say, I hear it all the time, well, I could never have imagined, well, then you just need a better imagination. Because you need to crank up that imagination and go to the dark side, because they will, if given half a chance, strip you of your gun rights. 866-TALK-GUN will get you in here. That is the magic number. When we come back, we'll be talking about, coronavirus and training.